All right, welcome back. You're still watching Morning Live. Could have got there. I do apologize. Well, Out of Time by Peter Louis van Dijk. Well, Tronkvoël by Martin Watt and Hani by Bongani Ndodana-Breen are three short operas that will be staged at the Opera Theatre the South African State Theatre in Pretoria under the umbrella title Cula Mzansi to celebrate Youth Month. According to the organisers, Gauteng Opera decided to restage these three operas which were produced a few years ago in Cape Town because they are very relevant to us as a country and will create a dialogue that we hope will lead to positivity. Well, Marcus Desando is the CEO of Gauteng Opera. Says Cula Mzansi refers to the operatic genre's ability to tell stories vividly through music, and he's here this morning. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
Good, thank you. All right, to somebody who's never heard about it, what is Cula Mzansi?
Well, you know, Cula Mzansi is for Gauteng Opera a new series of saying we want to tell South African stories. For a very long time, people think opera companies only do, you know, European operas, the Traviatas, the Bohèmes. But then we think it is very important that we start telling stories of our own.
Yeah.
And so in 2010 in Cape Town, these operas were commissioned by the UCT, I think, and Cape Town Opera. And we felt we should start with operas that are already existing, and then in the future we will commission new operas. So Cula Mzansi is basically let us sing our stories.
Talk to us about these three operas.
Yeah.
And who worked on them?
You know, it is quite interesting because it's quite a varied number of people that have been working on. There were 5 operas that were commissioned initially, and I only chose 3 to do this time. And the first one is Hani. It's written by Bongani Ndodana-Breen, and Mfundi Vundla wrote the words to the music. And it's really a story about what would Chris Hani say to us today if he came back to the world. And the narrator of the story then goes on to say, please come back and show us the way. So it's really more a cry for help for us as people, to our ancestors, to the people that came before us, to say, you know, how do we fix the state of our country? So, you know, for us as a company right now, we want people to start talking. We need to start talking. And then the next one is called Tronkvoël, and it's about a gentleman called Breitenbach who was jailed in the 1975-6, I think, and he wrote a series of poems about his time in jail, about how people, political prisoners were treated, and he was also a political prisoner. And then also about this very strange relationship he formed with a tomato plant next to the gallows, and where every day he saw people being hung, and how the prison warders would then just go to this tree and take these tomatoes and start eating them. It's a very strange way of how they actually saw a prisoner at the time. And Out of Time talks about xenophobia. And it's written by Peter Louis van Dijk, who's a very well-known South African composer. And it's really about what happened in 2008, I think. Remember the time when there was a lot of xenophobic attacks?
Right,
and he takes that and he literally puts it through a view of a young boy who we think is telling a story about his parents met, and the father was a foreigner, and he eventually killed himself. But at the end, we see that actually the hate that is spewed by people because of fear and greed actually leads to death, because at the end, the boy, we discover that has also died. And we have a wonderful cast. I mean, you know, Gauteng Opera always, you know, we have our own very much talented singers, but we've added a few more wonderful singers, South African knowns like Thabiso Masimini, who made his fame in Phantom of the Opera overseas, Liz Lombard, Kurt Grobler, who are doyens of the opera world, and Tshepo Ratona, a very young boy who I found a few years ago directing a very strange piece of theatre. I asked to come and direct with me. So I'm not doing it alone this time around. So it's a very, very exciting group of people. Okay, so you're at the State Theatre. Give us details, ticket prices. The ticket starts from 80 rands, I think, and it goes up to 208, 250. And they can find them at CompuTicket.
All right, Marcus, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thanks for having me.
Marcus Desando is the director of Gauteng Opera, speaking to us about 3 short operas by leading South African composers at the Opera Theatre in the South African State Theatre in Pretoria under the umbrella titled as Cula Mzansi, taking place from the 16th to the 24th of June 2016. All right, for now though, let's say a very good morning to Shoni.